My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Pisces. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For this week, I decided more or less to show face instead of just having the camera angled at the altar, but I'm just going to kind of say we'll switch them on and off every so often, and also still occasionally throw in a couple of Dracula themes and stuff like that. But anyway, for today, I'm just going to do your general reading, your past, present, and future. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading for today. Okay, the general card is the Queen of Wands reversed. Okay, let's look at the first row, which is your past. You get, 8 of Pentacles reversed, Strength reversed, and Ace of Swords reversed. My goodness, Pisces, what happened? Okay, well, I'm sure probably something, will happen, that resulted in you not having the motivation, courage, or need to want to take action towards something. I mean, yeah, it's like it's only, on a general note, and it is a general reading, so it doesn't have to mean anything for everybody for that matter. But sometimes, if you've experienced, these situations, whether it was a week ago, a month ago, several weeks, whatever it may have been, it's also just a human response and reaction, if you feel like, oh goodness, I just have no motivation whatsoever and that more or less resulted in me having no courage to pursue something. Because hypothetically, let's say that's been like a real negative setback, a rejection, a refusal of something, that's kind of the key themes I'm getting from this combination is where you pretty much just think, why do I bother? I just don't care because, my courage is not up there right now because, sad but true, the general card was indeed Queen of Wands reversed, which is also similar to Strength reversed. And then it more or less has resulted in you just saying, I'm not going to deal with it right now. I just can't be bothered. It's just too much for me at the moment, Well, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I mean, I really wonder if it doesn't really have major impact on your current situation in any way. But yeah, you do start off with 7 of Cups reversed of not getting options and opportunities. But yet you get the 4 of Swords reversed, meaning you want to start taking action. But yet you get the Magician, which is Gemini Virgo energy, or you could also have more water placements of more Pisces or Cancer Scorpio placements as well. What I'm kind of getting here is this is still pretty much taking place from, the whole past event. Because, it's like since, it's like something caused you to not want to have motivation and want to keep working and stuff like that. That resulted in you having no options and opportunities in current times. It can happen. I mean, it's like whatever we do pretty much have impact on the future. So whatever you did in the past pretty much still had any, some kind of impact or influence on your current times for that matter. But yet here you are still having this motivation and inspiration and want to still take action, but yet maybe you have no idea how to create manifest something. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just pretty much a universal theme and feeling and sensation on different levels and stuff like that. Because, whatever you work on right now will have some form of impact on your future. So, it's like, but I love the fact that you still have this need and desire to want to do something, despite having faced such a big, setback or rejection or refusal of some kind. Because when we look at the future, you get a very beautiful, strong High Priestess, the upper book of knowledge of your experiences, your everything that you've accumulated over your past entire life and stuff like that. But yet you get the Ace of Cups reversed, meaning, you could have faced some kind of big loss of some kind, or maybe this is you finally coming to terms with something, and you're going to be changing course and venue by walking away from what doesn't serve you with the 8 of Cups. Yeah, I mean, it's like, sometimes it's good, when you're actually trying one thing, if that doesn't work out in your favor, then it's always good to just walk away from it or even just take a break, put it on a simmer and stuff like that. But whatever doesn't serve you or work or benefit you in any way, sometimes it's best just to kind of walk away and say, I tried, it just didn't work out. But it never means that you're a failure in any way. Sometimes, these situations happen, it's like, even, my human familiar for that reason. I should probably be feeding soon. He was telling me how yeah, when he was growing up and stuff like that, it's like he had the options and opportunities to try out different venues, whether it was like, working at taverns back then, or when he was like, I think he was like working in some kind of like a medical healer's office or something, but he was trying out different flavors, and it just, he tried out different things, and then for some of those things it just did not work out for me. So then, for him, and then in that aspect, what happened is that he just took off and said, okay, I'm just not going to deal with it. I tried, but it's not clicking with me. I mean, you know, his voice, in that sense, it's not clicking for me for, saying, yeah, I'm not dealing with any of that stuff. So, but we're going to do some clarification, because for the Eight of Pentacles reversed, you got the Six of Pentacles. So maybe, it's like you had no motivation because maybe, you were being presented with something, but yet you probably just thought, I'm just not going to deal with it right now. Because, it's like something is just holding you back, and you just pretty much just think, well, why should I? It's like if you don't have the reason or need or especially desire to want to do something, I wouldn't proceed with it. Not because I'm not, granting you the opportunities to even try something and see if it gets better. No, because the thing is life is also very precious and short on so many levels. So, if you feel like, I just don't have the motivation yet, I'm being presented with something, why should you actually do something that's not working out for you? Because, it's actually, what I was thinking is, it's like you get the Strength reverse, and then you get the Devil, Capricorn energy, and Leo energy. What I'm kind of getting here is I'm wondering if the Devil had some kind of influence or impact on you. Well, the Devil, is a shapeshifter. It could be he, she, it, or whatever it may be. But this Devil somehow, pretty much just thought, I'm just wondering if the Devil, was pretty much, was watching you, being presented with something. And then the Devil, it quickly swooped in and replaced this whole situation and said, no, you shouldn't be accepting it, because look how weak you are. You have no strength, Pisces. And that's what I'm going to remind you of. And that's what actually I saw you, is suddenly something came back, or, something, swooped in and replaced that potential offering, even though you were pretty much just not motivated, but you were definitely being presented and offered something, and yet the Devil decided to take control over the whole past incident and just pretty much just put you in a lack of confidence kind of mindset, at least. Because sad but true, you did get the Queen of Wands reverse, Leo energy. I wonder if it was a negative impact or influence from a Leo. Hopefully not, but of course, it's all just universal for that matter. Because despite not putting some, time and effort into something, you do get this new offering. Now, I'm wondering if this is the offering from the Devil. But yeah, it's like, well, this could also just be some unexpected, miraculous event that could have taken place, and where you're pretty much just thinking, okay, it's like, well, to want to actually, yeah, it's like, I can just see how, something really transpired in the past that really caused you to just think, why should I? But of course, it's like, being offered new ideas and stuff like that is probably going to benefit you, or it could have benefited you and stuff like that. Because the thing is, it's like you do end up in current times with the Seven of Cups reversed. So if you were presented with an Ace of Cups, which is actually a really good big chalice, abundance and overflow for that matter, and you pretty much just, rejected it and ignored it because, well, you allowed some kind of devil situation to control you, in the sense of thinking, I don't have the confidence or strength, so I'm not going to deal with it, even though it was probably a really good benefited offering for you. Because in current times, you get the Seven of Pentacles upright. I'm not allowed to show it. And then you get the Seven of Cups. So now you're in a hesitancy kind of position of thinking, okay, it's like I was presented with that chalice and stuff like that, but I refused it, or I ignored it. I didn't put effort into it. But now I'm just kind of more or less, reaping the consequences of my actions by thinking, goodness, I should have done something. Well, the thing is, it's like, it's better to have those moments suddenly just click in rather than that it's way too late, because again, it is a general reading. It doesn't have to mean anything for anybody at all. But yet, The thing is I can see how you are suffering from hesitancy. You're suffering from maybe buyer's remorse. You're suffering from regret. You're suffering from all kinds of like, what if, what could have been, oh goodness, if only, if only, if only. But yet, it's like, who's to say, that would have actually taken place from the past to current times? It's like we have no control. And so if you pretty much already had that strength reversed, or you already had that Eight of Pentacles reversed in the past, it's like the only way, how you could have done it was towards the end was try to come to terms and to think, okay, let's try something else. But yet, better late than never, you do get the Four of Swords reversed when you take action because you want to start manifesting something, which I think is beyond impressive on so many levels. Because the thing is with those lighters that got chick, 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 and you just see sparks, just showing up. This is kind of like the sparks that are showing up. It's not quite there, but it's still that need and desire to want to do something. Because, it's like you do get the High Priestess, but yeah, it's like how sad but true, you do get the Magician reversed afterwards. But I love the fact that you still have that sense of hope within you. And hope, is usually, the tiny bit of energy, that tiny little candle of hope that I've mentioned, even with the Daughter of Skulls, the Page of Pentacles, with, you see this unhappy vampire is stuck in the woods and she has her tiny little candle, but that's just kind of her light, her tiny little spark that she tries to ignite constantly just to see if something will work. Because despite afterwards just thinking, that lighter is not turning on and stuff like that, because you get the Eight of Swords of feeling lost and directionless and stuff like that. So I understand how, it's like, sometimes, some people end up, going and struggling through rough patches and stuff like that, where you just think, okay, it's like, I'm not going to deal with anything right now. And sometimes, it's like, yeah, okay, there's setbacks, where you're just faced with non-stop setbacks and stuff like that. But sometimes, those setbacks are meant to teach us how bad we want to achieve that desired goal. But other ways, it's, sometimes these setbacks are meant to guide us, towards a different direction, and to say, you need to go back, you need to, retreat, you need to try out something different. Because the more you try to push for something that's not going to work out for you, the more we're just going to be pushing you back to say, stay away from this goal. It's not meant for you. It's not going to happen. But of course, it really depends, because it is a general rule. I mean, reading, but on a general rule, it's pretty much what you personally want, need, and desire on most ways of stuff like that. Are you going to allow, an Eight of Swords to hold you back? Because the High Priestess has her upper book of knowledge, but yet you are struck with Three of Swords in the end. It's like your intuition is kind of holding you back. It's like, your senses and intuition, your past is pretty much just causing so much heartbreak. Yeah, I mean, it's like that one oracle. I don't think it'll show up for you for today's reading. But yeah, that oracle that says the past of prison, where you only look back at the past and to only remember all the negativities that have taken place. It's easy to look at, back at the past and to just say everything was just hopeless and doom and gloom. Trust me, from a vampire to a mortal, I know that all too well. But the most important thing is to stop thinking about the past constantly, about how horrible and traumatic and everything negative, it was, in any way and stuff like that. It's best just to kind of allow, your intuition just to accept that there was heartbreak, but try to avoid, thinking about constant heartbreaks even in the future as well. Because here, you could be, missing an opportunity because, maybe you're only just thinking about, just only heartbreak and stuff like that. So you could be missing out on this big opportunity and stuff like that. But perhaps, it's like, sometimes, letting go of these opportunities is pretty much going to take you off towards a different direction on heading towards one of your beautiful cards, the Moon. So the thing is what I'm kind of getting here is if you only ruminate on only heartbreak, memories from the upper book of knowledge and stuff like that, just only thinking, yes, everything was just really terrible for me. My academics was bad, my relationships was bad, my children, this and that, whatever it may have been. If you only just think about the negativities and stuff like that, then you won't be able to actually have this clear, open mind to be able to embrace and accept new beginnings and stuff like that. Because this is probably the Ace of Cups from the beginning that you first ignored, and then it's pretty much just said, well, I tried to get back to it, but now, the opportunity I have to take off, or it's not there anymore and stuff like that. But yeah, I do see you heading off towards a different direction. So Well, you just stay tuned to see what the upcoming, weekly reading will have for you. But I do see you taking off towards a different direction of wherever and however it may take you. So, yeah, it just looks like, yeah, the crux of this message for today is, it's like, I see that you want to actually change your fate, but try not to let any kind of negativities just, will shadow and overcrowd and even have any kind of devil moments just hold you back in any way. Wow. Because your special card is Eight of Wands. I see you, something moving fast in your favor. Something is heading towards you quite fast, or maybe you're going to be heading towards something quite fast in other ways. But there's going to be some quick movement for you. And that's what I actually see you doing, is maybe you're going to be heading off real soon in a fast manner as well. Or maybe you're going to be heading off towards an overseas opportunity for that matter as well. But either way, the Eight of Wands showed up for you. So, the Oracle has transmission, spreading of conditions, influence, and impact. So, try not to let your past or current situation have any kind of influence or impact on your future or any kind of endeavors or voyages for that matter. Because the thing is I think I even mentioned this to Aquarius, unless you even have Aquarius placements, is, it's like if you only, just, think about only the negatives and stuff like that. Yes, you'll be stuck in that negative mindset and stuff like that. But if you can try to let go of any kind of influences or impacts, even from the past, be self-forgiving 100%. The thing is, it's like there's no handbook or upper book of actual, the high priestess that is always going to be there for you. So my suggestion would be is just to do a lot of self-loving, self-forgiveness, self-support, self-care on so many levels, and just try not to allow anything to have any kind of influence or impact on your current and future setting for that matter. Okay, well, I'm going to have to finish off with 3 yes or no answers for today. Please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. Speaking of the second 3 of Swords, sad but true, it's a no for answer number 1. One of the cards I pulled for the vampire. Here's the second 6 of Pentacles, which is a yes for answer number 2. And speak of the second, wow, you got 2 seconds of all 3 cards. The second 8 of Wands, which is a yes. So you get 1 no and 2 yeses for today's reading. Well, my beautiful, amazing Pisces, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now. If this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. In a few days, I'm going back to love readings, so for now I'm just doing general and love. I'm also open for personal readings. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and post in the little discussion box below that you want a personal reading from me. Otherwise, I'm also open. I'm also, going to continue on with occasional Dracula themes and stuff like that. But even I'm also going to be adding in some more historical facts about previous vampire tales, like whether it's the Casket Girls, the Carter brothers, the Count of Jacques Saint-Germain for that matter, stuff like that. So please feel free to subscribe, stay tuned for all kinds of new beginnings, ideas, and I love you guys incredibly, and best of luck on this beautiful healing moment, and take good care of yourself.